Hi everyone, I'm Rick Beato. On today's Everything Music, it's What Makes This Song Great, episode 32. The band is Coldplay and the song is Clocks. Coming up next. Clocks was the second single off A Rush of Blood to the Head, which was released in August of 2002. The single was actually released in March of 2003 and has one of the most famous piano lines and chord progressions of any Coldplay song. It is also a great example of modal writing. A Rush of Blood to the Head was produced by Ken Nelson, who also produced Parachutes and X and Y, but this record in particular was actually mixed by Ken, and in my opinion is the best sounding of those records, and has the strongest songs as well. Let's check out the intro. One of the things that you miss, or that you may not have heard though, is this little guitar overdub. It's just a slide. That happens under the riff. Here it is again with the piano. It's a cool little sound effect that goes nicely with the piano. Now, let's talk about the progression that's being used. This became a frequent progression of not only Coldplay, but of many other artists after this. But what's interesting about it that makes it unique is that it starts on an E-flat major chord, which is the 5 chord in A-flat major. Then it moves to the 2 chord, B-flat minor, holds on it for a second bar, and then it goes to the 6 chord, F minor. This is actually a really unusual chord progression. And I remember when I first heard it, I said, boy, that's really strange. They hold on the B-flat minor chord for 2 bars in the middle of the phrase. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really odd to have that second and third bar be the same chord. This was actually one of the first songs of Coldplay's that used this progression, but then on their live release, they had a song called Moses. It's a great song that uses this progression. And then Speed of Sound uses this same progression as well, along with many other people that actually borrowed this and used it in their own songs that became popular later on. So it was actually a really influential chord progression. And it's interesting because the piano line was actually inspired by Muse, Chris Martin said in an article I read. So let's take a listen to the intro of this. It's really a beautiful line. Here's what it sounds like in the track. And the band enters. Now, when the band enters, I want you to check out a couple things. First of all, the bass. The bass is played with a muted technique throughout the entire song. Let's check it out when it comes in. You hear it's really compressed, it's perfectly played in time, and it's so even. By muting the strings, it actually brings out the low end and it makes it really consistent sounding to give the mix a very, very consistent bottom end. Let's check out the drums soloed as well, because the drums are really good sounding too. Check it out. Great drum sound, really roomy, because the room mics are really prevalent in the track. I'm going to play the room mics by themselves. Check it out. Those are really far away room mics. It's great sounding. Here's a kick. Very, very consistent. Let's check out the snare. You'll notice that everything is perfectly played in this. Really consistent, even. Every center hit is perfectly nailed right in the center of the drum, and it has a lot of tone to it. So the groove is just nailed down between the bass and drums. So you're really focusing on the keyboards and the pad that go under it. One of the greatest things about this song is Johnny Buckland's guitar work. It's really extraordinarily good. Here's what he plays in the intro. Check it out. Sounds great too. One of the great things about this is he's not just playing roots, he's playing different inversions of the chord. So on the E flat major chord, he's playing a first inversion, E flat chord, then he goes to B flat minor and plays the fifth and root. Then he adds the flat third in on the bottom, so it's a first inversion, B flat minor. Then he goes to root position A flat major, so it's... Play along with it. Another thing about the guitar part is that the reverb is hard panned all the way to one side. Check it out. I'll go between the two. It's really great, but the best part of this is actually how the keyboard and guitar parts work together. Let me solo both of them. Listen. And then it drifts into the pad. Next, let's take a look at what Chris Martin does with the verse, vocals, and melody. Let me just play the vocals by themselves first so you can hear.
The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against have brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head, and a trouble that can't be named. A tiger's waiting to be tamed, singing, you are, you.
This is actually an incredibly simple melody, almost like a nursery rhyme, and it uses all the right notes and occasional tension notes right in the right spot. On the E flat major chord, he starts on the root, E flat. Then he goes to the note C, okay, which is the sixth, but that's really a lead-in note to into the flat third of the B flat minor, so it's... And then it stays on the B flat minor, and he goes third, 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 back to the root, and then you're on F minor, and it goes 5/4 flat third down to the root, and does the same thing again, right? Second time, almost exactly the same melody. And then but then it goes root, flat 7, and then we're back to so you've got the flat 7 on the B flat minor chord, 5th to the 4th, and then it goes to F minor, and it does that, the 9th against it. When he goes, that 9th there is really a color tone. It's an upper extension, and it makes the melody beautiful. The second time, when they're doing that high harmony part in the interlude, he repeats that and he harmonizes it. Let me play you just the first phrase with the vocals and the pad.
The lights go out and I can be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against have brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out.
Really, really great. I mean, you don't need much more than that. If I put in the bass, I got it.
The lights go out and I can be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against have brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and please.
The bass is so in the pocket. It's so perfectly timed like a clock that that's all you need. Once again, it's every part that you add just adds to the ambience, adds to the vibe of the track. The next little detail that makes this song great is in the chorus when the bass drops to the low F on the F minor chord for the first time. It's the first time you hear this low note. Listen to it. Check it out. That low F grounds that chorus, since that's kind of the culmination of the chorus at F minor. It makes the song actually sound like it's actually in F minor. It starts out like it's an E flat mixolydian in the verse, but then it really settles into F minor, even though the verse has a major feel to it. By the time it gets to this chorus, same chords, but that low F gives it a gravity and makes this chorus really happen. Now, there's another really great thing that's going on here. It's the guitar part. Once again, it's something you don't notice because the piano overwhelms it, but they work so perfectly together. Here's the guitar part by itself in the chorus. Check it out. Okay, so let me play that with the bass. Listen. Once again, just this incredible intensity between those two parts. You hear that keyboard, you know the line that's going on there. But these parts together really just interlock and make there's so few parts in this. The drums are doing the same thing. The bass, just dropping to that low F, and that guitar coming in there with the piano line really, really make it dark. In the next interlude, just after the session, check out what the guitar does. So we've returned to the intro guitar part right there. So it switches it up. And what does the bass do there? Let's listen. The bass moves into the upper register here in the interlude, and it actually hits the A flat major chord for the first time. The guitar is playing the intro figure, right? So the guitar is doing this. But when it hits this A flat major chord in the beginning, the bass is actually playing F. And because it's playing F, if you have A flat major over F, well, you have an F minor 7 chord. But here it changes it to A flat major. And it's the first time in the piece that you actually hear the tonic chord. Okay? The chorus is really kind of in F minor. But this is definitely A flat major. And the verse is in E flat mixolydian. Okay? Because the verse has a major feel to it. It's really fascinating that you get the same chords over and over. but it gives a different feel depending on the register of the bass, for example. It doesn't matter how many times you hear it. I've heard this song a million times. And when I hear it, I hear all these inner parts together working. And I just think about how brilliant it is. This is a particularly brilliant record, Rush of Blood to the Head. To me, I don't think that Coldplay ever reached this height again. The songwriting on this record is incredible. You've got songs like God Put a Smile on My Face, Amsterdam, which is one of my favorite songs, the last song on the record. And you think, wow. I mean, that song is pretty amazing. So in the second verse, we have the same melody structure, but there's one extra part that everyone has heard, and you kind of wait for it. And it's this. Check it out. Here it comes. Now, everyone has heard that. What's he actually playing there? It's almost like he made a mistake. It's a little bit off time. It's beautiful, though. You always wait for it. Listen. It's probably something that he was just goofing around with, and they said, ooh, that's great. Let's keep that in. So the second verse is essentially the same melodically as the first, obviously with different lyrics. Moves on to the chorus. Chorus is exactly the same. And then we have the post-chorus interlude where the piano moves up into the high register. Let's check it out. So the chords that you have here, over the E flat major you have... So it actually starts on the sus4 third root. And then when it goes to the B flat minor, it goes to this D flat Lydian triad. You guys have heard me talk about this forever, right? 1 sharp 4 5. Well, here it is in action. But what notes are they in relation to the B flat minor chord? The D flat is the flat third, the G is the 13th, okay? And then the A flat is the flat 7th. So it's really a Dorian sound. And then it goes on the A flat major chord. You've got the root, the major 7, and the third. So these are upper extensions of the chord, and this is what makes this thing explode, are these beautiful dissonances. The harmony double that happens in the second half of the second chorus is in thirds with the melody. Let's check it out. What's great about that is that leads us into that high piano part, which does the upper extended chorus. That really kicks it up a notch. Also, the pad that goes on with the keyboards. Every time that the chorus is going to happen, you always hear these swells in the pad. It's they're like filter sweeps that you hear. Now check it out again. There's a lot of movement on that pad. That's a really, really beautiful part. It sounds like it's a layered sound along with the higher piano line. It just makes that area of the tune explode. Also, bass up the octave. That actually continues on twice, but then is actually edited out in the radio mix of it. What comes next is the bridge. Now the bridge is really, really incredibly cool. We have a modulation, one key in a flat direction from A flat major to D flat major. So the chorus goes from E flat major, B flat minor, B flat minor, A flat major. Here's the bridge. You don't really know it's a modulation yet. The G flat major down to the flat 7. Now nothing else compares. There's your tonic chord, D flat. You've gone to the key of the subdominant, or one key in a flat direction, and then to the 5 chord, to the 4 chord. So it's a 4-1-5. Nothing else compares. 1, 5. And then the last time around, it's, and then it goes, which is a really killer modulation going from G flat, major 7 to E flat major. When modulating from G flat at the end of the bridge, G flat major 9 to E flat major, we have a minor third related or third related modulation, which is why it sounds almost jarring. But the delays and reverbs that carry over the transition make it sound really natural. This may be my favorite part in the song, other than the high piano. It's the 2 guitar parts together in the bridge that work to form this really beautiful part. Check it out. That last chord actually fades over when you hear the bass change. So check it out. I'll play the end of the phrase along with the bass. Really great, great part. After the bridge, we have the introduction of the piano line again, which then leads into the whole band kicking in right here. And it's instrumental for a while with the high piano part, and it goes around 2 times. Now a lot of this got cut out on some of the edits of the song, and then the falsetto parts come back in here, and it's really beautiful lines over this. And then eventually he comes in here with these answer parts. Really beautiful. Notice the crash right here. Really cool drum part. And he plays right here. Awesome. And then this is my favorite part in the video with that guitar. Listen. That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. If you're interested in the Beato book, go to my website at www.rickbeato.com. You can find it there. And remember to follow me on Instagram at rickbeato1. Thanks for watching.